Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spark to Spotlight, where we shine a light on inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and founders who are making a difference. Today, we have a remarkable guest, Suprio from Markzin, who has transitioned from journalism to entrepreneurship and is now making a significant impact on micro, small, and medium enterprises in India. Suprio, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Carol. It's really a pleasure for us also to join this program. Thank you.
We first encountered each other through a competition program you applied for with us, and you also joined us for a pitch event. I was truly impressed and inspired by your story during those events. So today, I hope we can do a deeper dive into your journey and bring this inspiration to our audience.
Thank you so much, Carol. It works as an inspiration as well as encouragement for us because we are working something beyond the business model. We are trying to create the impact through our entrepreneurship at the societal level. So definitely this recognition and acknowledgement is inspiring for us also.
Wonderful. Let's start from the very beginning. So, tell me what inspired you to make the transition from journalism to entrepreneurship? And can you take us back to that moment when the seed was planted?
Yeah, thank you so much, Carol. This is really a very, very important and critical question. As I mentioned that I started my career as a journalist and in mainstream media, but fortunately I got the opportunity to do the rural reporting and financial reporting. So it helped me to reach out to the last mile of the communities to understand their life and then report accordingly. So during that phase, what I realized that there are quite a lot of gaps between what we understand, what we know about the people from the last mile or the marginalized and excluded communities. Here, marginalized and excluded communities include women also, and also the youth. And there are different categories of discriminating factors that includes the language, that includes their geographical positioning, which is in many of the cases hard to reach. So all these factors actually make them excluded from the mainstream. Because if you understand, India is a country of 26 national languages. So it's not possible for a person to get information, may not get its information in her or his own language. In most of the cases, it is in English. If it is online media, it is in English or in Hindi. But for a person in a state, it's not feasible for her or him to understand the dynamics of the business, understand the dynamics of the economy in English. So all these factors acted, I mean, in other than the stereotypical differentiating factors like gender, like caste, rest, or locational disadvantageous position, what I realized that language also plays a very critical role in keeping a section of the population, a very majority section of the population, outside the reach of other projects by the government or the other actors. So that actually made me think twice, because journalism and communication, it's basically communicating or acting as a bridge between two or multiple actors of development, be it the community and the government, be it the civil society and the community. So then I realized, because of these discriminating factors, most of them were already addressed, like gender, like socio-economic differentiation were addressed, but the language aspect were not there. Everybody was expecting that if we develop a document in English, then it will automatically trickle down to the community and it will automatically help them to adopt basic or best practices or the prescribed practices. So during my journalism days, we realized it very clearly that we need to address this very simple but specific aspect of discrimination. And that actually encouraged me to come back to this world of entrepreneurship. And the other reason is that, Carol, you'd know that India is going through a demographic dividend. That means by 2030, 65% of the population in India will be youth. So now the question automatically comes, what will you do with this huge population? I mean, young population. You have to make arrangement for their employment. And as you understand, for no country, it's not possible for the government to or any private sector to create that opportunity. So self-employment is the only option that can help this youth, and that can gradually help the community and the local economy to prosper and improve and grow. So these two factors actually made me realize the importance of micro entrepreneurship and use of local language in communication to help the excluded section of the community to join the journey towards prosperity. And it is helpful to leverage the demographic dividend of India.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Suprio. That's indeed fascinating. We actually have a lot in common because I also studied mass communication and I worked in the world of media for a number of years. I always admire journalists who make sharp observations and comments on the spot when the news happens, because now you are a founder and leader of your company.
Correct.
How do you think has your experience in journalism shaped the way you tackle challenges as a leader at the company? I mean, communication is a key, but apart from communication, what are the other qualities that you gained from your days of journalism that actually shaped into a leadership role at your company now?
As you yourself understand that being a journalist, it's very easy to get access to the excluded population. So being a rural journalist, being a social entrepreneurial journalist or reporter, I got access to the entrepreneurial activities at the community level or at the excluded level. So what I realized that there are entrepreneurs. It's not that the entrepreneurs are there in the urban areas or high-tech cities. I mean, entrepreneurs are very much there at the community level, at the village level. And if you ask me, I consider it's the excluded section that includes the women and youth. They're more enterprising than many other sections. So the entrepreneurial activities were there. They are doing whatever they could do by themselves, the traditional practices. But they were getting ostracized or excluded because of those discriminating factors. So, as you said, that the communication is very critical. So, I could identify the gaps in the entire chain. And then I realized it's the effective communication that only can connect the dots between these gaps. For example, government is there, all good wills are there to support the people, to encourage and improve their entrepreneurial activities. But the problem is that the information regarding the available services, support from the government or other sources are not trickling down to the community. So the first thing is that we have to take the information to the people. I mean, being a journalist, that was what we were doing. But the point is that we had some limitation that you have to report in this way, because if you are a financial journalist, you have to focus on this aspect. If you are a political journalist, you can't touch upon the other aspects, other areas. But entrepreneurship is a domain that allows you to go beyond all those boundaries and bring people together and start a collective journey. So what I would say, my journalism experience and qualification theoretical experience also helped me to do an analysis or assessment of the situation, because I realized very clearly that these are the gaps. And at the same time, journalism, you must agree with me, journalism helps you to respect people. I mean, in many other cases, you don't think about people, but in journalism and communication, you have to respect people. You learn to respect people. That actually helped me to take their endeavors in a positive manner. Then I got engaged into social entrepreneurship, mostly at the micro entrepreneurial level. Then I learned a lot. Let me tell you, I have learned a lot from the communities. I have learned from the women entrepreneurs. I have learned a lot from the entrepreneurs from the excluded areas, because whatever they were doing on the basis of their traditional knowledge and skill were marvelous. And at the same time, I realized, being a representative of being a fortunate person to have access to other information, that if we can provide a little support, then it can make a wonder. So that's how my journalism experience helped me to realize the potential of the people who are there at the community, to support them, so that the once you support the economy to grow from the below, then it actually contributes to the overall growth of the economy. So the disparities reduce. It's not the financial disparities, it's the gender, it's the socio-economic and locational disadvantages disparities that actually bring a parity among people.
You mentioned about speaking to the government, then speaking to your potential user, let's say the rural women and youth, right? What are the ways you notice is a kind of a different way of communication when you speak to different sides of this area? When you speak to government, speak to the other side of the spectrum, what are the ways of different communication?
Once you have different audience to talk to communicate to, you have to realize and understand their capacity. You have to acknowledge them. You have to recognize them. For example, at the government level, I must say it's not always, or it's never bad. I mean, all good peoples are there. People are there at the government level also. And the point is that all the, compliance factors, all the rules and regulations are there at the government level. So it's better, and it's the only option, to start from acknowledging the fact that these are the rules and regulation that one has to follow. So once I communicate, or we as a team communicate with the government, we always keep it in our mind that government people are the representative of us, and their intention is not to do anything bad, but to bring change in the situation. But the gap is somewhere else. The gap is in the connect from the government to the community. Similarly, once I talk to the community, I'm not making any difference between other segments at the community, for example, women, youth, or people from excluded groups. I'm not saying that, but in general, they also have their own intellect. But the problem or the challenge is that there is a very big disconnect among these two, and some way or other, it's known to them. For the government people, it is also known to them that it's not feasible for them to reach out to the last mile. There are quite a lot of constraints that they can't overcome at a given point of time. And similarly, it's not very feasible for the community to trickle up to the government level. So there needs to be a bridge. And what I realized personally, that technology can bridge that gap. So through effective use of technology, you can bring these two key actors together at the same platform. And once this communication channel is established, your work is done. You won't have to do anything, because some way or other, that respect is there. Government also feel, I mean, in many cases, people say that government officials are not that sensitive to the requirement of the people. But my experience is, slightly different. What I felt that everybody as an individual at the core of their heart would love to do something good for the community, good for the society, but there are a lot of barriers, challenges that actually prevent them to do so. And similarly, at the community level, the gap is at the capacity level. I mean, they don't understand what is communicated because of language, because of the mode of expression. Because as you understand, for the people from the civil society or the urban areas, they talk in a different way. Keep aside the language also, the way you need to communicate to the community, to the entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, it needs to be similar. So that's what actually we are trying to do. We are trying to make a bridge between these two key actors. It's not us that we will go throughout India and make the difference. It's not a revolution that way. We are not promoting a revolution. We are just trying to connect the dots and bring all stakeholders of micro, medium, and small entrepreneurial ecosystem to come together and act together. The approach is different in a sense that we actually try to bring the communication materials and the communication points at a level which is understandable by the both, because you have to respect and acknowledge the importance and contribution of all the actors, all the stakeholders. So that's the spirit on which we are working.
That makes a lot of sense. It's really interesting to hear how those communication skills translate, right? You also mentioned that obviously the youth population of India is definitely a huge asset, right? You are probably one of the youngest nations right now on the planet.
Yeah.
And also in the future, probably self-employment would be a key pillar of the society because there are simply not so many existing jobs, right? People have to find a way to sustain themselves, to create a business out of those. So
Exactly.
I'm now curious, what is your vision for Markzin Young, and what kind of impact are you aiming for with Markzin Young? Do you have any short-term or long-term milestone footprint vision for yourself?
First of all, the name in itself shows that Markzin Young Private Limited relies on the young population, youth population. So, from our experience of working across the communities for the past 5, 6 years, I mean, as a company, what we realized that the potential is very much there, and it's the youth who can make the difference. I mean, we always talk about change makers. We have the experience, and history already taught us that it's the youth population that brought the difference actually. So the first and foremost thing is that we recognize, we acknowledge and respect the power of youth in bringing tangible change in the existing situation. Number two is that we are leveraging the power of digital technology, because that can actually iron out many differences, difficulties, and disparities within the society. And the third thing is the capacity building or hand-holding support. It's not like only awareness generation or provision of information that can bring the change. I mean, we can do a lot of things to create awareness among the people from the excluded groups. But then what next? So, what we are doing, we are actually providing information, we are providing support to enhance their skill and the capacity. And the third one is that we are connecting them with the existing resources as well as supports from the government and private sector. It's not that there are nobody in the ecosystem to support the excluded groups. Quite a lot many actors are already there. Government is there, philanthropic institutions are there, NGOs are there. So we are bringing them all together, utilizing this digital platform so that they can communicate, they can understand each other, and they can support each other, because at the end of the day, it's a collective journey. And as you understand, our solution provides roadmap for the micro, medium, and small entrepreneurs in India to comply with the ESG regulations or being sustainable, because today it's a mandate. It's not an option for MSMEs or any industry to become sustainable and responsible. Unless you are sustainable, then you won't continue your business. So what we are doing, we are providing information, very basic information, very basic information on sustainable practices. We provide them training, online as well as offline training, to understand those compliance issues as well as to gain the capacity to adapt those practices. And the third part is that we are providing sources of these supports, be it government, because there are plenty of government projects that is actually aimed at providing support to these micro entrepreneurs, medium or small entrepreneurs, but unfortunately it's not known to them. So as we said, using local language, easy to understand format, and some sort of referral as well as hand-holding support, we are providing information, skill, and access to finance and technology support to these MSMEs or the micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs to adopt sustainable practices. That's what we do. And as you were asking about the milestone, Government of India has taken a roadmap that by 2047, I mean just 100 years after the independence of India, we will become sustainable, and by 2070 it will be a net zero country or economy. So our aim is to support this vision. As I said, it's a collective journey. So let's take it as a target. By 2070, India will be a net zero country. The carbon emission will be reduced to zero, like that. And if you come back and divide these milestones, our objective is that by the next 5 years, we would like to reach out to at least 30% of these huge MSME or micro, small, medium entrepreneurs to help them being adapt sustainable practices. That's what we are doing. And in India, it's 63 million registered MSMEs as per 2021 data. So you can understand that we would like to help these MSMEs to become sustainable, to survive, to grow, so that it can include many youth, women, and excluded people. Because you will be happy to know that 97% of these MSMEs, this 63% million MSMEs, are women-led entrepreneurs or the micro entrepreneurs, basically from the rural areas. So if you can help this 97% of the population or entire MSME ecosystem, then definitely it can create a huge impact. I mean, it has a snowballing effect actually. It will reduce the financial inequality, it will reduce the social inequality, and it will help the emerging youth population to utilize their potential in the most productive manner.
Yeah, I mean, those stories are truly heartwarming. As a woman entrepreneur myself, although I am able to do this right now, I do recognize in many parts of this world, women are not being given the same type of opportunity and privilege to do so, right? So it's really inspiring what you are doing in India right now. Could you maybe give us some examples of the digital solutions that Markzin Young provided? It can be any specific, let's say, school example or village, a specific solution that had helped them.
Absolutely, yes. And if you will feel happy to know that, I mean, I would say 90% of our projects are focused on the micro entrepreneurs. I mean, we provide digital solutions like, I mean, very simple website, e-commerce site for the schools, for small business groups, entrepreneurs, I mean, rural entrepreneurs, rural artisans, and so we provide this, and very small entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who provide services. So we help them to build their website, e-commerce, and help them to run it, to make digital marketing activities so that they can reach out to more people and they can get more business. And we do have experiences, examples from our works, our clients who actually prospered a lot using our digital solution. And our startup innovation, for which actually we received this global challenge, Tech for Sustainability challenge, we won that challenge, is nature responsive finance for sustainability. This is actually an application based solution that provides information, skill, as well as referral services support to the micro entrepreneurs regarding the existing support that they can receive from the government or other sources. So for this, what we are doing, we are reaching out to the MSME clusters. You know, in India, the MSME ecosystem is divided into 6 key or major MSME clusters where the key MSMEs are situated. You can say it's more than 60% MSMEs are divided across those 6 clusters. So we are reaching out to the last mile. We understand their problem. We then develop materials to make them understand. For example, if it is sustainability, the sustainability challenges for automobile industry is entirely different from sustainability challenges from leather industries. And everywhere we are not talking about the big corporates, we are talking about the supply chain vendors who are at the down the line at the community level, who has to perform the activities that engage with carbon emission, that engage with energy intensive activities. So we help them to understand the importance of sustainable practices, how they can reduce their carbon emission, how they can enhance their energy consumption, how they can shift to other non-conventional energy sources. So that's what we are doing. And this helps them to realize the potential. I mean, we are trying to incentivize the Sustainability Act using the green champions, because if you understand, it's a behavior change communication from non-sustainable to sustainable practices. And the basic question comes to the mind of the entrepreneur every time is that if I adopt sustainable or environment friendly practices, it will increase the price of my solution and I won't get the business. That's why we are identifying the green champions in coordination with the government of India. Government of India is also having a program to identifying the entrepreneurs who are actually adapting green practices. So we are identifying them, we are placing them in front of the entrepreneurs so that they can understand, yes, it is feasible. They can understand that, yes, if we adopt sustainable practices, then also I can become sustainable, in the sense I can prosper, I can grow, and I can make profit. So these are the areas, these are the ways we are. And here also my understanding on communication, behavior change communication helps a lot, because just provision of information will never work. You have to see someone in front of you who's from that specific industry and adopting or practicing sustainable practices and doing good business. So then only you will feel motivated. That's what we are doing through our application named Nature Responsive Finance for Sustainability.
Excellent. So it seems like a lot of things Markzin Young is doing have an overlap with normally an NGO scope, right? For example, empowering youth and women, creating awareness about ESG, and building a greener future together. So lots of things you are doing also falls under the scope of NGOs. So how do you differentiate yourself from an NGO kind of organization? Also, can you educate us a little bit about the business aspects of such an organization? But obviously, profit is not the first, is not the biggest driver for social entrepreneurs, but that's an aspect that you have to take into account because you need to survive. So normally, how do you get your funding? Do you rely on the fee you are charging for your users, or you actually rely on government support, etc., etc.?
Markzin Young is entirely different from NGO, because from our close connect with the community, we realize that charity can't be sustainable or can't make any tangible difference. It's always the people's power. So that's why Markzin never believes in charity. Markzin never goes for provision of anything from outside and come back. We remain there with the people. We believe in the power of people. We remain with them. And then definitely we believe that if we empower someone, then definitely that empowered person will have the capacity to pay for it. Yeah, it is true that you won't expect the very big profit, but definitely it's a profit making business, in the sense because from our experience we realized that many of the social enterprises, enterprising activities actually failed because they didn't have any market connect. So that's the key factor we always try to keep in mind. We always connect it with the market activities. And yes, we definitely charge little amount. It's not anything I mean, what should I say? Anything charitable. I mean, we don't believe in that, because unless otherwise you believe in me, that if you are providing some support to me, I'll feel encouraged and I'll definitely give it back to you. And that will encourage me to go further. But if you come and give something to me like relief, response, and humanitarian activities, then it will help me to survive for that moment, but or bounce back to my original position, but it will never help me to prosper, grow. So that's what we believe, and definitely we do charge for our services, and we don't depend on any funding for that way matter from the government also. It's basically self income generating activities. Yeah, and it's our business model is there from NRFS, the Nature Responsive Finance for Sustainability. It's at a very nascent stage though, but the income generating sources are the training that we provide, number one. Number two is that the information, that section, social media section, people are actually providing their, placing their advertisement over there. So we do charge some small amount from there. And the third one is that we provide information for them to get access to government funds or other reliable sources of finance and technology. So we don't charge people for that, but we definitely charge the banks or NBFCs, non-banking financial institutions, for the, I mean, loan or the financial products they sell through our platform. So these are the key sources of our sustainability or survival.
It's true that you said many social enterprises fail because of market, right? So product market fit also holds true for social enterprises as well, not only
Absolutely.
profit-making private enterprises.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. Yeah. So here our innovation, that is local language, and our close connect with the community play a very critical role in that, because it's very transparent. Our user know what they are doing and for what they are paying. So there is no ambiguity. There is no nothing like that. So they are also confident that we are doing this and we will get this from these services. So they are happy to pay for it, though the small amount is there.
Wonderful. Yeah, so now tell us a little bit about your winning experience at the Global Tech for Sustainability Championship, right? So winning this championship by Siemens is definitely a significant achievement. How had this affected you personally, professionally, and how had this affected Markzin Young, I mean, business-wise?
Winning the global championship of Tech for Sustainability by Siemens Global was really a very good catalyzing factor to expedite our journey towards whatever we are doing, because as I mentioned, that our objective is to create a world without discrimination, disparity, and with sustainability net zero. So the point is that we have been working with the youth, and we identify youth from the rural areas or marginalized communities, and we train them and take them along with us in through our projects. So this Tech for Sustainability challenge, for this Tech for Sustainability challenge, the solution we developed, it actually came from the community. Our team actually realized that there is a need for MSMEs to get such a platform that can help them to become sustainable, because it's a mandate for them. So we realized that importance, and at across all the levels of development of this solution, uh, our youth people, young people, as well as the community members were very much engaged. So this recognition from Siemens Global acted really as a very encouraging factor. We also realized that yes, somebody other than us, somebody other than the people who are around us, also believe that we, whatever we are doing, can make a difference. So that's the first thing. I mean, the award money actually helped us to develop our MVP and get down to the community. But I would say this encouragement, this acknowledgement, that actually helped the entire team of Markzin Young to feel motivated, feel encouraged, that yes, whatever we are doing, whatever dream we are having as a team is correct, and there are some other people who acknowledge it. And from that award, we actually got into some sort of strategic partnership with Siemens Financial Services and got mentoring from them that helped us to fine tune our solution, to market the solution. And definitely, we are at the level of scaling of the solution across India. So that actually helped us.
That sounds
Yes.
like a very transformative experience,
Ab-
isn't it?
yes, it is. It is.
Is Marketing Young currently operating on the whole kind of India, or are you focusing on certain areas, certain regions of India?
Actually, we started from the state of West Bengal in India, but now we are scaling across all the states of India in a phased manner.
Are there any standouts, personal stories that particularly touched you, for example?
Personal stories from our previous activities, yes, there are many. Actually we have been working for a school, kindergarten school in West Bengal. They were actually during the COVID, as you understand, they were about to close their operation. So they were about to close their operation because they didn't have any access to these digital platforms, digital activities. Then definitely we immediately plunged into that and we said, no, no, don't worry. We are there. We developed the website for them and we helped them to get other accessories to continue with online classes, online admission, and all those things. And now they have grown and they are very much clear and very open to say that it is Markzin Young team, the girls and boys from Markzin, that actually saved their school and that actually helped them to continue with their journey towards educating the people from the community. I mean, it's from a village area, the school. Another example where we are working with an NGO from a very remote part of West Bengal, state of West Bengal. They were also about to close their operation because at this age of digital technology, they were not able to connect with any donor or funder because they didn't have access to digital solutions like websites and all. So the moment we helped them to get this website done and make it very attractive for the donors, they started getting funds for their activities. So they are also very open to say that yes, it helped us. And during the last year, we actually trained around 3,000 women and youth from rural areas on digital literacy. I mean, we provided them basic training on how to use smartphone, how to use the basic facilities available digitally. That actually is also very inspiring for us whenever we receive messages from those girls and boys or the women that yes, because of that training we are now very confident. I am confident to continue with my business. I know how to do my banking activities using my smartphone. So that actually makes a lot of difference. Yes, we have innumerable examples like that from community.
Wonderful. Those stories definitely highlight the real impact of your work.
Exactly.
Thank you for doing this, obviously. And I know that if you go alone, you can go fast. But if you want to go far, you have to go with a team. When it comes
Absolutely.
to building your team, what quality do you look for in potential members at Marketing Young? And how has your background, for example, from the journaling side, influenced this process of identifying the right talent to join your team?
I think it's present in all everybody that there should be that should come from your inside inner conscience to do something good for the society. So that is the key thing that we always would like to see. And the majority of our team members are youth from the rural and marginalized areas. And definitely we have senior team members who actually belong to different background. It is research, social research, economic research. This is networking with the government and other stakeholders. It is finance and business management. And very recently, we received someone from Siemens team also to come to and join our team. she's Ruchi Odhikari. I mean, she joined us. She was very much impressed by the way we are working. Then she voluntarily told us, okay, I would love to join this team as an advisor. So this is basically, I would say, it comes from your intent, your interest, and your passion for doing something good for people. So that's what we look for, because we know the qualification we can't expect, because majority of our young team members were not that qualified, but we took them along. So now they are qualified, they are enhancing their qualification, they are working with us. So we feel that this passion for doing something good for people is something that we look for.
Wonderful. Yeah, so building a team is definitely, you have to find the people with the similar passion in what you are doing, so that, because doing their work, doing their job will not be a burden anymore. It's basically every day they come to work, they will feel the same, as empowered as you are to drive the same vision ahead.
Exactly, yes. We do have those process and procedures for managing our day-to-day works. They are very much there, but at the end of everything, we feel that it's the impact that makes them encouraged to continue their work with us, and that makes the difference, actually.
Wonderful. Throughout the whole journey of building Markzin Young, what do you think have been the biggest rewards and challenges you have faced along this way?
The biggest reward is the confidence and the change in the people for whom we are actually working, because we believe at Markzin Young, we believe that our bosses are not there at the office, our bosses are there at the community. I mean, we are working with them, and for our team we say that they are paying us, we are paid for doing work for them. This is the highest award or the greatest award that we received through our work. And the challenge, I would say, I mean, as you said, it takes time. Once you want to go through together, you can go long way. We are sure that we'll go a longer way, but it is taking time. So that's the challenge we face. I mean, we need more people to come to us. We need more people to join us, but at the same time we believe, or we realize that sometimes it's getting slightly slow because of the investment, because of other practical things. But still we are quite encouraged with the rewards that we are getting, and we are motivated, and we have that spirit to move ahead. So challenge wise, this is the only thing, it's taking slightly longer time.
How many years have you been building Markzin Young?
It's 2019. That means it's 5 years almost.
Throughout this journey, was there any particular obstacles that kind of give you a second thought? Will I be able to do this? Can I continue on this? Did you ever have those moments?
Initially, yes, we had some confusion. As a founder, I had some confusion that whatever I'm doing, is it correct or not? But yeah, it's 6 months only. Then I realized, no, we are on the right path, because by that time we got many people to join us and encourage us. So it's fine. I mean, it never worked like that. Uh, yes, it will not work. Some dilemma, whether should I go back? No, it never happened. That's the beauty of social entrepreneurship. You have so many other things other than profit, other encouraging factors that motivates you to continue your work.
All right. Thank you so much, Suprio, for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much, Carol. It was really, really nice to share our experiences, our feeling with us. And just one word I'd like to add, that it's the reward you were asking. It's the sparkle in the eyes of the women from the rural areas, girls from the rural areas who were not within the mainstream journey of towards prosperity. But once you are doing a slight thing and they're feeling motivated, that's the best reward. I mean, if they're not saying thank you, even from the sparkle of their eyes, you can get it, and that will keep you going on, moving on forward. to achieve your goal. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. It's always the sparks in the eyes and in the hearts of entrepreneurs that we at Startup Links has been looking for as well. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to this episode of Spark to Spotlight. We hope you found Suprio's story as inspiring as we did. Stay tuned for more stories of innovation and entrepreneurship. Until next time, take care and keep sparking those ideas into reality.